Oi, oi, oi! DataBard here. A lot of exciting announcements about Microsoft Fabric within the past few weeks. But there was one I was hoping to hear and didn't, and that was about deployments in Fabric. If you haven't worked with them yet, regardless of whether you're using Git integration or the deployment pipelines, it happens object by object, which leaves the question, what if I need to do a partial deployment? Maybe I have a couple of changes in a Fabric warehouse that are ready to go, but some aren't ready. What do I do? Well, either you deploy the whole thing, or you deploy them by hand. Not really good options, so what's a third option? In this video, I'll give you that option, and it allows partial deployments of Fabric warehouses. Sound interesting? Let's get into the video. I'll show you how it works. Now, of course, some prerequisites. First of all, you will need an installation of Visual Studio. The version itself doesn't matter so much as long as it has the database capabilities within Visual Studio. The second thing you'll need is the endpoints for both the source and target Fabric warehouse environments. You can find those in the UI here. If you have both of those pieces of information, you're ready to jump into today's demo. Alright, now if you've worked with database projects in the past, you've worked with schema compares for deployments. Fun fact, Fabric warehouses count as databases, so we can use the same database deployment mechanic. So I'm going to go into Visual Studio under SQL Server, and we'll go to New Schema Comparison. This will allow us to run a differential between two environments, which in this case will be our two Fabric warehouses. We have to define a source, and we have to define a target to make this happen. So I'm going to go ahead, select source, and I'm going to define a connection to my first Fabric warehouse. This is going to be the one I expect my changes to be in. I put in the appropriate information to get myself authenticated to that warehouse environment and hit OK, and there my source is defined. I'm going to go to my target, and I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing. But now to the new Fabric warehouse environment, I expect to deploy things to. With our two environments defined, I'm now looking for that compare button in the upper left-hand corner. And I hit that button, and then it performs the differential to identify what is different between my two Fabric warehouses. And just like we'd hoped for, I get a complete list of each individual object in the warehouse that is different. In this case, my new warehouse is in fact new, so everything's an addition. But I get those checkboxes in the middle of the screen that lets me select and deselect items that I do or do not want to deploy. Once I determine what I want to deploy, and in this case we'll deploy all of the tables, I'll hit that Generate Script button. And this is going to generate a T-SQL script that, get this, is compatible with Fabric warehouse environments. So I get a deployment script that immediately identifies additions, changes, and deletions, and gives me all of them. I copy and paste that into a Fabric warehouse environment in a new query window, and after looking and making sure everything's okay, I hit that run button and let the process run. Now, one big caveat about this, take a look. There is an error that comes up. This is some things that are specific to databases, just ignore it. It's fine. No, Fabric, it is fine. It's just a database thing, don't worry about it. Get out of here. You're ruining my demo. Come on, get out. There. Okay, that is just a database thing. Don't worry about that error. And I can confirm that it works because I look in my new warehouse environment, and sure enough, there's the tables I wanted to deploy. I can double confirm this by running my schema comparison again, and sure enough, those tables no longer exist. I know I've made a successful partial deployment to Fabric. There you go, a process that lets you deploy individual tables, store procedures, views, and similar objects from one Fabric warehouse to another. Now again, this process was made for SQL Server databases specifically, so it's not going to work 100% perfect. But given the current landscape of Fabric, it's a step up from having to deploy the environment in its entirety. And if you work in multi-environment situations within Fabric, if you're like me, this will save you a significant amount of time. Hopefully this was helpful. If it was, or if you have any further questions on this, talk to me in the comments. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. And if you found this helpful, hit that like and subscribe button to be notified of future videos coming out on the DataBard channel. For now, I'm DataBard, and I'll see you in the next chapter.